Hello everyone and welcome back to Delta Fleet Flight School. Today we'll be focused on basic flight maneuvers with the Razorbill, and this video is supposed to come after the flight controls video where we talked about the different keys and buttons that you use to move and use the Razorbill. So first today we're going to start off with launching the Razorbill, and there are a couple of ways that you can do this. The most tempting way for most new players is to use this panel over here to deploy your vehicles. And to do that, you would go over to your logistics screen, you would click on it, you would see which types of vehicles there are, which loadouts they have, and then from there you would then decide and remember which button to press, and then come over here and press the button. But we're not going to do that, because there is a better way, in my opinion, to do this. First, we're going to go to a map control screen. We're going to click on the carrier, and then we're going to look at the loadouts on this screen and choose the vehicle we want to deploy. And instantly, we'll set our first waypoint. Usually, or in all cases, your waypoint will start out as a 400-meter altitude waypoint. Now, I'm attacking this island to destroy all of the ground targets, which have a range of 1,000 meters with their cannons. So, to give this Razorbill some more safety, but still be within the firing range of the enemies so I can see them from their muzzle flash, we are going to set our altitude to 800 meters altitude. So the Razorbill is still far away from the vehicles and very unlikely to be hit, but it is still close enough that we can see where the vehicles are shooting at us from. Something else that I'm going to do is set a flight path for the Razorbill to loop, because once it reaches this point, it will cancel the waypoint and descend down to its default altitude of 400 meters, which is bad. So, to keep it at 100 meters, we can either set a hold waypoint, which will keep it in the same place, or we'll do what I like to do and set a flight path around the island, so if there are any enemies alive, they will shoot at the Razorbill as it comes around on its path, and then we will know that there are enemies still remaining. So we can look, we see the Razorbill has already launched from the time that we clicked on the carrier and deployed it through the screen, and it is on its way. Now, we can wait for it to get there normally, and if we go into the Razorbill, we can see that it's flying at about 60% power. The throttle on the left is shown with the vertical bar, but to get it there faster, we're going to take manual control, click R, increase throttle all the way to 100% and lean forward. We'll also activate both of our autocannons, and we will continue on the same heading that the autopilot had it on. Now, let's say you get confused and now you're off the heading. To get back on the original heading, all you have to do, as long as you didn't press any of the roll keys, simply move your mouse until the ladder bars are straight up and down, and that's how you know the original heading is set. So we're at the island now. This is a level 2 island. That means it could have turrets, ships, and an airfield. Now I checked ahead of time and we know there are no ships, so we're going to first prioritize the enemies at the airfield, because once they take off, they're very difficult to destroy with the Razorbill. So we're going to come in from above and do a short controlled burst below our target, because our Razorbill is moving forward, which means that our bullets will also carry that forward momentum until they hit the ground. We're going to roll to the left because we're trying to turn left, and we're going to pull up on our mouse. And now we're facing back the other way, ready for another pass. And there are always 4 vehicles in the hangar. And I can't see it, but I'm guessing there's a vehicle here at the corner. Yep, I just scanned it and I blew it up. So that's 2 aircraft down and another one coming out onto the taxiway right now. And while we're here, we see there's some enemies in front of us. Let's give them a quick little burst. We see 1 explosion. We see a target still alive. And there you saw I was starting to pitch down severely. Now I don't want to do that too much because then I'll be flying upside down. And flying upside down is a great way to crash in the Razorbill. So we're just going to go around for another pass and engage any targets that happen to line up in front of us using short controlled bursts. Now with the headlights, these vehicles are very easy to see. Now let's not forget our main objective, destroying the aircraft. Here we are, there's an albatross on the runway, and there it goes. Aircraft are usually very easy to destroy with the autocannons. Any more targets of opportunity that happen to line up in front of our attack path will also take some bullets. And we'll turn around again, roll left, pull up. You'll see our speed drop, but that's simply because we're changing direction. Our movement indicator sliding across the screen. And we're back on the approach. There's an enemy here. We'll give it a burst. There it goes. We'll give this one a little burst. Tilting down just a little bit as we fire. Keep that lead of our bullets. And it's okay if we don't fully destroy everything in a single burst. We don't have to, because we're doing multiple passes. We're just trying to use our ammo as efficiently as possible to kill all of the targets on the island as quickly as possible. So we're not tunnel visioning on a single target. Now here's a target in the water. These are very difficult to destroy because these bullets we have do splash damage. And if they impact water, their splash damage is completely negated. So to destroy a vehicle in the water, you have to actually get your bullets to land on the vehicle itself, which is extremely difficult and consumes a lot more ammo. Now we see from the muzzle flashes below us, there are 2 turrets at the command center. We're going to leave those alone for now because we have one more aircraft at the airport to destroy. So the Albatross, and there it goes. So now all of the aircraft at the island are destroyed. Let's focus on safely taking out the rest of the vehicles. See a group of 2 here. Small bursts. That one's done. We're going to line up for our next run. Roll left, pull up. And all of this is being done at full power, which also consumes a lot of gas, so let's not forget about that. Right now we're at 42% fuel, but we're also close to the carrier. So something else you can do to help give yourself a few more milliseconds of engagement time when firing on an enemy that you're flying over, you can lower your throttle, which will make you pass over them slightly slower. Oh, so we've just gotten hit with a single hit of a 30mm bullet, and that's taken our health down significantly, almost to 30% health. So from now on, we're going to try to remain at a higher altitude to reduce the chances of the enemies hitting us. Because although they have poor aim, they do get lucky sometimes. And that's one target down. Now there's only 2 targets remaining, the turrets. There's one. You see the muzzle flashes, but we're directly above them, which is not a great place to be when trying to fire against enemy ground turrets. Now these turrets are typically situated on top of tall, thin towers, and if you shoot directly at the turrets, you're likely to miss. So the best way to make sure you do destroy the turrets is to aim at the bottom of the tower that they're sitting on. So we're waiting for the muzzle flash. There's the flash. I'm aiming at the bottom of the turret, and there it goes. Second turret spotted. There it goes. And that's all the targets destroyed on this island. Now we're getting a critical fuel warning, so we're immediately going to return this back to the carrier. And not just the aircraft, but we'll also turn the carrier around. So it shortens the distance that the Razorbill has to fly to get back home. And this can mean the difference between losing your Razorbill by running out of fuel or landing it safely. So we're going to continue turning until we see the nose of our carrier is aligned with our aircraft. And just remember, when we exited the vehicle, we were at 25% fuel, which means we have just about 2 minutes or less to get this thing on deck before it runs out of fuel and falls out of the sky like a rock. So we're aligned, we're going to go maintain heading, and as an extra measure, we're going to manually take control of the vehicle. If we left it flying in autopilot, it would be flying very slowly and covering less distance. And although it consumes more fuel, flying it manually at full power will get you there much faster, and in the end, you will have traveled a longer distance with less fuel. We see the runway lights ahead of us, and we're almost there. We're currently at 13% fuel, and all we have to be to safely land on the deck is 7% fuel or higher. Checking the map real quick using the tab key, shows that we are getting closer. And remember that the traffic pattern for the aircraft carrier is at a low altitude, so we don't want to be coming in too high. So now there's the carrier, we're descending, and we're going to get directly above it at about 200-meter altitude, and then we'll release autopilot. 7% fuel. Now let's halt the carrier by turning off the engine. And we see the Razorbill is in the pattern to land at 7% fuel, 6%. Now this is really pushing it. Let's see if we can make it on deck. There it is. It's over the carrier right now. Passing the bridge. And look out the window, we should see it. 4%. 3% fuel. And that's a successful landing. So with one Razorbill and two 20mm autocannons, we've completely wiped out an entire level 2 island and landed it on the deck with 3% fuel remaining. This has been a flight lesson in standard flying maneuvers with Delta Fleet from Trench, and I'll see you in the next video.